Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. It is a great day here at Niagara University. It's always a great day at Niagara University. So we are here to, I guess, commiserate a little bit about the Bills, which we're all kind of feeling. Most of us who are Bills fans are feeling a little bit today, but still on a positive feeling. And we have some more great news today beyond that of the Buffalo Bills to share with you about the College of Education and its credentials. And without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to introduce representing the university today, Dr. Deborah Colley, who is the Executive Vice President of Niagara University. She has been here a long time as a visionary for the university, and it's my pleasure to introduce her. Doctor?
Thank you, Tom. Good afternoon, everyone, and Happy New Year. For a lot of us, we haven't seen each other since the New Year rolled in, so what a pleasure. On behalf of Father Marr, the faculty, our students, and our alums, it's my pleasure to welcome you in this, balmy weather. Because compared to last week, I think we're all feeling it's warm outside. We talk about the power of Niagara University, and the power of Niagara University is seen in our academic reputation, the high quality of our programs. It is seen in the engagement of our students. So for all of our students, that might be on campus, but it's also with faculty and in the professions, where we have students out there working their jobs before they even get started. It's also in our mission, our desire to really care about everyone and to serve the community, the people that are harder to serve. It's easy to do good things for the easy people, but we want our students at Niagara University to serve everyone. And we also see the power of Niagara University in the diversity of the experience that we give our students, because our world is diverse, globally and domestically. And we want young people to come out knowing that. So it's even more important that we're here today to talk about teaching, and we're here today to talk about the College of Education and the bar that they have raised on accreditation and standards. There may not be any more important profession than teaching, because those of us that are teachers are with our kids every single day for most of the year. So the life of a teacher is very impactful for children and for young people. And there are a lot of jobs now. We have our career development people here. We had the biggest teacher recruitment day last year than we've seen in how many years, Bob? Quite a long time. And the headlines keep saying that. The headlines in the U.S. News and World Report, teacher shortage. The headlines in the EdSource, worsening teacher shortage, underprepared people get jobs. This is our fear. Growth in employment of teachers. So the jobs are back, and so it's very important that we talk about the quality of programs that prepare teachers and leaders, and that's why our news today is so important. The College of Education, and you'll hear from our dean, has reached, again, the highest level of standard in both the U.S. through CAEP and Ontario through the Ontario College of Teachers. These are the gold standards for the preparation of teachers and educational leaders. We take that very seriously, but Niagara University is the only university that holds that highest standard in both countries. And it's rightfully so, because the legacy of preparing teachers here is very long-standing. We do that work very differently, though, and I just want to take a minute to share quickly what is different about the way Niagara University does this work. Number one, maybe first and foremost, are our partners in the P-12 system, and you'll hear from one of our superintendents. You cannot prepare teachers and leaders all by yourself. This has to be work that universities do with individuals in the schools, and that's how Niagara does this. Teachers and people going out into these professions have to have a lot of experience. I don't know about you, but I don't want anybody teaching my daughter who never stepped foot in a classroom. So Niagara's programs put students out in the schools from the very first semester of study. And like a crescendo, they keep learning and learning and learning under the mentorship of faculty and experts in the school. So by the time they student teach, by the time they get their first job, they are ready. Third, our faculty. Of course, the faculty are all credentialed, but the faculty are also in the schools too. So there's no disconnect between what you learn in theory and what is actually going on in the hallway of a school building. I remember one principal one time saying to us, the students might be good teaching math, but I want to see them in the hallway when classes are changing with 17-year-olds. So that is what we do. So our students are out there. And lastly, but perhaps most importantly, our students have a range of experience related to the diversity of schools and of learners. Every teacher has to know how to teach every student because young people don't pick the teacher. They're kind of stuck with the teacher. So it is our goal that our young people can teach to the variety of learners in a school. And that's our mission, serving every single young person, every single adolescent, depending on where they're from and what they bring to the table. And so this is why the Niagara University graduates get jobs in the field of education, and you'll hear more about that from our dean. Not only do they pass their exams at a high rate, but they're out there working. And we're very proud of our alums. I want to share with you one. Most of you, I'm sure, were up at midnight on New Year's Eve. And if you weren't, don't admit it now. Keep it to yourself. But on CNN's broadcast, there was a feature program, a high school in Boca Raton that's called We Dine Together. And this was a program that was started to identify young people in that school that were eating all by themselves. Many of us have our own kids. Can you imagine them being in school, being in high school, and have no one to have lunch with? Where do they go? What do they do? So this program got started to find young people, get them to meet each other, get them to know one another, and to really be part of a community of people that share lunch, learn from one another, and actually, what do you think, become friends. And so this has really caught on, this We Dine Together. It was highlighted by the Huffington Post, the Independent, which is in the United Kingdom. They have been on the phone with the Ellen Show, the Steve Harvey Show, and People Magazine, and it was highlighted just before they dropped the ball in Times Square. And you could just imagine, what do you think? The person who started this is an alum of Niagara University, Jordan Hernandez. Many of you might remember Jordan. And he has taken the mission of Niagara University, along with what we do, hold ourselves to high standards in the profession, and he has really started this movement in his school in another state. This is the power of the College of Education. This is why being accredited and holding ourselves to the very highest standard matters the most, because these are teachers that affect the lives of young people each and every day. So we're very proud of them. On behalf of the president, we are very proud of the College of Education and the faculty, and this is why we're here today to recognize this terrific work and the accomplishments of our grads. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Colley, for your leadership for the university, and Father Marr, who is not with us, but it is the leadership of the university that drives the mission of the university through all of our colleges, including the College of Education. And that leadership then goes to the dean, as Dr. Colley mentioned a number of times, the dean, the dean, the dean. The dean of the College of Education is Dr. Chandra Foote, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about the college itself and the accreditation. Doctor?
Thank you, Tom. And thanks for coming out this afternoon. I appreciate all of you being here in attendance to celebrate with us. And it is an important, I was so happy to see 2018 come across the calendar, because the College of Education has actually been through 2 years solid of various accreditations. And I could not be more proud of the work of my colleagues and friends, the faculty and staff in the College of Education. Because in the last 2 years, we have not only received National Accreditation, CAEP, which is what we're going to talk about a little bit today, we've also received CAEP Accreditation, which is the National Accreditation for Clinical Mental Health Counseling. We have, as Dr. Colley said, a renewed accreditation from the Ontario College of Teachers, and consent from the Ministry of Education in Ontario has been renewed. We are probably the most highly decorated College of Education in the world. We are certainly the only one that is recognized in 2 countries, and now we have programs in Thailand. We're really proud of the work that we have done, and it's been it's been a lot of work getting up to this. I want to thank Dr. Colley. She didn't mention this before, and neither did Tom, but Dr. Colley was the Dean of the College of Education for 15 years before 3 years ago she moved into the Executive Vice President role at the university. So it's really nice for us in the College of Education to have somebody in a leadership role who understands the heavy lift, if you will, that we went through in going through this. So thank you very much. I want to recognize a few members of our advisory council and partners from the schools, Marcia Capone and Kathy Sullivan, for being here. And you're going to hear from Mr. Laurie in a little bit. What we do really can't be done by ourselves. As Dr. Colley said, it is part of the work that we do with the field. We are preparing people for real-world professions, and they have to be able to work in the field and have the time to do that. So thank you very much for being here with us. In trying to explain why would we be celebrating accreditation, Tom Burns was trying to put the invite out for folks to come to our celebration today, and I'm looking at this invite and thinking, this is not the most exciting party I could ever think of. And so it's my job, I think, to tell you why this is important, and I tend to teach through analogies. And so I won't talk about the Bills, but I will talk about sports. People can understand sports, and the Olympics are coming up. This is our Olympics, and we've just finished competing in the Olympics. And when you look at different sporting events, you know how basketball, you get the point by getting the ball in the basket. In speed skating, you just got to be the fastest. Well, our Olympic event is much more like gymnastics because there's multiple individual events, and you got the scorers and the judges who are putting up. You get a 3, you get a 2, you get a 1, and then there's the Russian judge, and you never know what you're going to get, and we can't throw out the scores. I don't want to belittle what we've done because I think preparing teachers, preparing counselors, preparing educational leaders is probably a lot more important than landing your vault. But it's a very similar system. And if you know anything about gymnastics, you know that your goal is to win the individual events or medal and do very well in the individual events, and then win the all-around. And that's pretty much what we went through with CAEP Accreditation. The individual events for us were the programs themselves. And each one of our programs had to go forth and be reviewed by 3 individuals who were identified by either national or international associations as really highly credentialed, well-respected people in those fields. We never got to learn their names, so they were anonymous judges for us, but we had to submit our work to them. So our special education programs were reviewed by the Council for the Exceptional Children. Our elementary education programs were reviewed by the National Association for Education of Young Children, NACE, and the Association for Childhood Education International. Our social studies programs were reviewed by the National Council for the Social Studies. Our English programs were reviewed by the National Council for Teachers of English. Our literacy program was reviewed by the International Literacy Association. I could go on and on. There were 15 different program reviews that were done on the individual level, and these 15 programs were all recognized. And they're recognized partly for the excellence of faculty, which is what Dr. Colley was talking about. Our faculty are highly credentialed, they're current in the field, they know what they're talking about, they teach with heart, and they expect and hold and are committed to holding our candidates to the highest levels and to the highest expectations. But for this round of review, it was even more about our own teacher candidates. And so when we submitted our work for review, we were submitting the candidates' work in the classes that we offered to them. We submitted the results of their field experience observations, so their cooperating teachers in the field evaluated them. We had to aggregate that and send it in, and we had to send in state and national test scores. I was pretty happy to send in the state and national test scores when, for the last 3 years of nationally reviewed data, so it's not just us making up data, Title II sends it back to us, we've had 95% or better passing rates, and on average, we are 10% higher than either the state or national average, depending on what the test is. So I'm like, sure, look at our scores. So we were very excited about that, and it's something our faculty should be proud of because they did a very good job of educating our students, but something we should be proud of is that we really good candidates coming in right from the start. So I was really excited about the individual rounds and the individual events. Once we passed all of those 15 different program reviews, that's when we got to the all-around competition. And we had to send similar information in advance, but it also involves a site visit. So 5 judges or reviewers, if you will, who have been recognized as people who have done this business for years, came to campus. They interviewed our faculty, they interviewed our staff, they interviewed our advisory council members, they went out into the field, they talked to alumni, they talked to our current students. They really left no stone unturned as they were here with us. And they were kind of verifying the data that we sent in. So in addition to those national and state test scores and the work that we put from their field experiences in for them to look at, they also looked, and this was a first for us, they looked at the impact of our alumni. We were kind of scared about this in the beginning. How do they follow our students 3 years into the field, into their classrooms with them, and then decide how good we were as a result? And what they do is they take the principal's observations of a current teacher and see how the principals have reviewed them. They take the state test scores and the local test scores of the children in the classroom, of our graduates, and say, are they passing? Are they doing well on those state and national and local tests? And they were very happy with the results that they found. And in some instances, I think we were showing them. So it's like in gymnastics, some of those new moves they get named after, some of these moves are going to be Niagara's moves now. And they're going to have to decide how to score them. But we were really proud because I think we were showing them how they could get that information from people in the field. So my analogy sort of breaks down when I'm going to tell you we didn't necessarily get a gold medal, but it's probably good for your children that they don't give gold medals out because you would really like, there are a lot of good programs across the country. You want teachers to be prepared, and we can't prepare them all just right here at Niagara University. But if there were medals to be given out, I'm thinking there would have been some that came our way. And evidence being, we are now nationally accredited by CAEP. CAEP is the Council for the Accreditation of Educator Preparation. It's a new organization. It's the only organization that actually accredits teacher education in the United States. It evolved from the merger of 2 prior accrediting bodies that are no longer there. But we are one of only 8 in the state of New York who have CAEP accreditation. There's over 100 providers preparing teachers in the state. So being one of 8 means I think we're doing pretty well. We're one of 100 in the country. And there are thousands who are preparing in the country. And international teacher preparation programs also submit to CAEP because the U.S. is one of the only places that has this type of a national accreditation. So far there are none. There are some on the dock to be reviewed. There are no international programs that have been yet to be approved. But very shortly I think we will be on the elite national and international stage as a result of having this type of accreditation. I want to give you a couple of quotes from the feedback that we got from those 5 reviewers that were here on campus. They said we had a comprehensive body of evidence for candidates' content knowledge, skills, and dispositions. In other words, we make sure that our teacher candidates know what they're supposed to teach, they know how to teach it, but as Dr. Colley was saying earlier, they teach with heart. They teach the children, and they know who they're teaching and how to make it important for them. That's the dispositions part. They said we have candidates who use research and evidence to understand the teaching profession and authentically use it to inform teaching practice. They said we have a strong evidence for addressing candidates' ability to model and apply technology. And they said our completers contribute to an expected level of student learning and growth. And that's when they went in and actually looked, when our students graduate, how well are those kids doing, their students doing on the tests. But even better than that was what they had to say about our local school partners. They said we were contributing to the ability of our candidates to meet the needs of diverse learners, especially students who are economically challenged, because more than 90% of the field experiences that our candidates complete from the very beginning of their program are in high-need, diverse schools. They said we've created a culture in which stakeholders, alumni, employers, practitioners, and school and community partners feel comfortable sharing their ideas for program improvement. If we just put a wall up and decided we knew how to do this, we wouldn't be good for very long. And I was really proud of that our stakeholders feel comfortable coming and saying, you know, this is where we can improve. And I think they felt that we were receptive to that information. And finally, they said that Niagara University has extensive, mutually beneficial P-12 school and community partnerships. And the interviews with teachers, principals, superintendents, and other central office staff confirmed the strong, collaborative partnerships between NU and area P-12 schools and districts. And these partnerships have grown exponentially. These are quotes from them. So in sum, I think they positively reviewed us based on our excellent collaborative work that we've done in the field experiences. So one of the things I think that they also took kind of kindly to was the placement rate. Dr. Colley said the jobs are open and people are getting jobs. We were very happy that 100% of our graduates from the last round of reviews were either working in schools or in graduate school, or in most cases both. And 93% of our graduate students had were working, and 26% were going on for additional graduate level work. So I think I couldn't be more proud of the faculty and staff of the results of the work that they've done. I can't be more proud of the candidates themselves. You guys are awesome, and you'll hear from some of them soon. Thank you to our partner districts and community agencies, because we couldn't do this business without you. And unlike Olympic athletes, especially gymnasts, we don't have a short window of peak performance. This is something that we can do again, and I look forward to working with all of you in another 7 years as this cycle goes through and we continue to go out and look at all of the professions that we serve, find out what the level of excellence is, and find out how we can either meet or exceed, and hopefully continue to exceed expectations within the field. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Foote, for the incredible work happening in the College of Education. With all those successes, I think we need a victory parade. We should plan a victory parade, which will be fun. And if you have time after this, we're going to clear the tables, and the members of the College of Education are going to demonstrate some floor exercises for you as well. So it'll be a fun afternoon here. One of the things that Chandra mentioned, which really is incredible, because you've heard, we see news stories that there are not teaching jobs, that there are no teaching jobs. But a couple points that I know are on the College of Ed's website. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the job projection for elementary teachers in 2020 is expected to rise by 17%, more than 281,000 new jobs nationwide. And in New York State alone, the projection is there will be a need for 180,000 teachers over the next decade. So there are jobs in the field, and they're good jobs. My brother, who's a teacher, reminds me every day in the summer that he's off how great his job is, and he has the best job in the world. Dr. Foote did mention collaboration and partners, and we have a number of great partners. And with us today is a two-time graduate of Niagara University, member of the class of 1984 and 1989, the superintendent from the Niagara Falls School District, Mark Lowry. Mark?
No. I liked it so much I came back again and again and again. I guess my comment or my quote would be, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Niagara University received this accreditation. They probably could have saved a lot of time with all the interviews and work and just asked, and we would have told them that they deserve the accreditation. So to the president, vice president, and dean, I say congratulations on behalf of your partners. And I'm very proud to be a small part of what you do, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because I know that we think of Niagara University and the Niagara Falls School District as our 12th campus, our 12th school, 12th campus. It's not K-12 or P-12, it's P-16, and it works both ways. We have, when we started a 3-year-old program and we really weren't sure what to do, the first thing we did was call Niagara University and say, how do you run a 3-year-old program? We've never done that. The staff at Niagara University knew, and they came in and were our lead support. And when we wanted to begin what I think is a groundbreaking, exceptional, and outstanding early college program, where students who never went to college before in their family get a chance to start earning college credits in 10th grade, we made that partnership with Niagara University. And now we average about 24 first-time college graduates that go through the program at Niagara University. And I'm not surprised at how successful they are. I'm not surprised because I know the relationship the College of Education has with their partners. And it's a good, solid program that has enough theoretical, but really has the practical. And I think that that's what Dr. Colley was referring to. The prepared teachers know the practical way to deal with 17-year-olds and 6-year-olds and 8-year-olds. That's what's most important to a school district. You can get good grades and do a lot of book work, but can you do it when you have 28 students in front of you who will sense in a minute if you're not ready, prepared, and able to handle it? They have a sixth sense, and it's really, do I have a good teacher or not? And if they come from Niagara University, we know that that sense kicks into the good. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because I know the conversations that we have with presidents and vice presidents of universities and deans of education. It's not a formality where you pick up the phone and they say, we have an idea, can you do it in the schools? Yeah, let's do it. Or we say, we have an idea, can you help us at Niagara? And they say, let's do it. That's as much of an agenda as we need to have with our partners. And that dialogue goes on and back and forth weekly sometimes. So while it's not formalized, it's natural and it flows, just like a P to 16 education flows. I wanted to say something about the teacher shortage. When go around or whenever I'm asked what keeps you up at night, what do you worry about as a superintendent, I really do not worry about the budget. We'll always find a way. I don't worry about test scores. I don't. I know if our teachers and principals are doing the right thing, our test scores are going to come, and they're coming in Niagara Falls. What I worry about is the lack of teachers, the lack of professionals that are coming through this really noble and great profession. And I'm just that is my biggest concern. So I'm pleased to hear today, to be here, but not surprised that Niagara University is one of 100, and I think they are the gold medal standard. It's just like you hear, well, Purdue is an engineering school. Niagara University, no offense to the other disciplines, is really an education school. And I know that any graduate we get from Niagara University is prepared to hit the ground running, hit the classroom running. What I would reject, though, is the notion that we can hire teachers in this time of teacher shortage without proper training. I reject the notion that we can get people from other places that have had other experiences. I strongly and firmly believe teachers need to go through a candidate process that Niagara University puts them through. So while I may be up at night worried about that, I rest assured that if they go through the program like Niagara University, we will be okay. So I would encourage everyone who's listening to be part of the education world. It's a great profession. It's a great job. It's a great career. And we do work in the summer. Some of us do work in the summer. And teachers really don't stop. It's the one job when you can't turn it off. You know, whether you go home at 3 or 4 o'clock or so, you just never can turn it off. So I encourage the young people and those that are getting back into careers to get into teaching. And I certainly hope they would come to Niagara Falls. That's a great place to work because of our partner. So I leave you with the idea that I'm not surprised that we're standing here. I'm not surprised that we're celebrating here. And it's more than just the pedagogy. I was asleep far before midnight and didn't see that show. But I do know that it is more than teaching. It's relationship building, and that whole program is about how to build a relationship. And if you have that, you can teach. So I'm not surprised that that documentary or that piece was done by a person from Niagara University. I'm not surprised at all. I just would like to conclude by saying that it's the people, too, that work here. Consistent people, consistent staff that work here that you're familiar with and you get to know. So today when you're celebrating, I say I'm not surprised that Niagara University is the gold bearer standard for education preparation in the United States. I am also not surprised to say congratulations on a job well done.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for your leadership in the Falls and in the education community, and of course for your partnership here. It is a noble profession. As I sit here and think about it, we all know this, right? We all have a list of a handful of teachers in our head that made an impact. For me, Jim Stanley, Father Louis McCormick, Tim Ellis, who you may have had, I had also in high school. I can run Sister Kevin Marie, a couple of the other sisters who wrapped my knuckles a couple times. But they all resonate. Like they all come back and you remember your teachers, and they make an incredible impact day in and day out. And we have them all over the world, which is great for the College of Education. We also have school counselors, and another two-time graduate from Niagara University and the College of Education. It's my pleasure to introduce Andrea Nicolia, a school counselor at Starpoint and member of the class of 2014 and 2016.
Good afternoon. My name is Andrea Nicolia, and I'm honored to be able to speak today a little bit about how my experience at Niagara helped me both personally and professionally. So I went here for 6 years straight through, and I completed my undergraduate degree in English education and special education, as well as my master's here in school counseling in 2016. Niagara University, one of the great things about it is that it allowed me, like Dr. Colley and Dr. Foote are saying, it allowed me to be in the classroom first semester of my freshman year. So by the time I student taught, I doubled up a few semesters. I was actually in almost 10 classrooms before I even started student teaching. So working with students of all ages and abilities, by the time I got to student teaching, it was actually, dare I say, rather comfortable by the time I got there because having been in so many different schools, you really truly felt prepared. So when it came time for my graduate studies, I knew I wanted to stay in the education field. I wasn't sure if I wanted to stay in teaching or, so I decided on counseling because I knew I wanted to be in a school, but maybe work with students in a little bit of a deeper role with the mental health coming into play. So I went on to pursue my master's in school counseling, also from NU. And during this time, in addition to NU preparing me for undergraduate during education, they also prepared me a lot for my practicum and internships in the counseling field when I was in my master's. So I actually was fortunate enough to have 3 practicums and then an internship year-long in the Buffalo City schools. So while I was there, I was able to work with, again, students in a very, very high-needs setting. It was a failing school, so we were doing a lot of different activities, and we were working a lot with students, not only what's going on in school, but also what's going on at home. And I also helped to facilitate a career day when I was there, so bringing in some of the things that I had learned at NU and using it to expose the students at School 89 to a variety of careers, and they hadn't had that before. So Niagara truly did a wonderful job of placing me and of placing the students around me in a diverse array of settings. In addition to my master's degree, NU provided immense amount of financial aid, especially in the College of Education. I was the grad assistant in disability services. Fortunately, and thanks to Niagara and the 6 years here, I was hired right even before I graduated as a short-term sub at Grand Island, and then before I was done at Grand Island in June, I was hired full-time at Starpoint. At Starpoint Middle School, I currently am the 6th grade school counselor, which is wonderful. I serve as a Kindness Club advisor. We like to do nice things for our building and our community, so it kind of is right up the Niagara alley, and I was excited to be able to take that over. So we surprise our bus drivers, and we leave little Post-it notes, inspirational Post-its. I'm also the advisor of the National Junior Honor Society, and I'm a coach for Girls on the Run, which is a character-based self-esteem running program. The education at Niagara also prepared me in terms of leadership roles. So while I'm there, I'm also on the building leadership team, crisis team, data team. There's a bunch of different teams, but NU has truly prepared me, even starting off, to take that leadership role within the building and serve on different committees. I was also asked to talk about a few professors who I felt like were really, truly mentors to me during my time here. Two specifically came to mind immediately, and I said their names out loud to my mom, actually. Dr. Paul Vermette, when I was here working on my undergraduate in education, he was so highly engaging and so creative, and I felt like I could sit in that class forever. He did all these fun activities, and you never knew what you were going to do, but through that, you just felt so connected to the field of education. And while in my graduate career, Dr. Shannon Hodges, he is served as a very, very, very supportive mentor. I learned many of my counseling skills from him, and I'm forever grateful to him for being able to use his passion to carry over into my career. So I can't thank him enough. Just to stem off of that, I know both of you spoke about the heart and the heart of the people that are here, and much the same I feel, really not only about those two professors, but about everyone here. I feel so fortunate to be so greatly influenced by not only their passion and their knowledge, but most importantly, their character. Even being in the field now, I feel like I can reach out to any of them, as I still do, for professional feedback, for what do you think of this, help with this, things like that. So I still definitely do maintain those relationships with a lot of my teachers here, which is very, just a really lasting relationship. And I know that at other schools, maybe if they're larger, but here you're really small and you feel like it's your home. So in closing, my 6 years at NU, they remain so special to me, and they laid the foundation for not only my career, but also just, in a sense, how to go about your relationships with students. And they prepared me not only to help students academically, but also to influence them using the same compassion and empathy that I witnessed here every single day. So, thank you.
That's quite the resume for graduating in 2016 with all those things on there. That's a pretty good resume for only being out just a short year and a half. So that's great. Congratulations on your career, and you have much in front of you, as does our next speaker, who will be a member of the class. He's an alumni in training, is what we call him, a member of the class of 2018, and we're finally here. It seemed like it took forever, right? 2018. It is my pleasure to introduce Richard Luzak for a few words. Richard.
So good afternoon. My name is Richard Luzak, and I'm a dual education major in social studies and math for grades 5 through 12. Attending Niagara was one of the best decisions that I could have made, and it's a direct result of the multifaceted, comprehensive, and student-centric teacher preparation program that I received here. And as I reflect upon the ways in which Niagara has given me the tools to be a successful educator, a few key characteristics come to mind. And I'm a big data person, so you're going to find I put a lot of data in here. We always hear about data-focused instruction. So I wanted to bring some of that data as a tour guide in the admissions office. I make sure to plug these points as well. So first is the complete program of classes designed for teacher candidates of all of the certification levels. Education students of all these teacher programs take classes in literacy, special education, teaching methods, and the development of all learners. And it's important to note that even the non-special ed majors, as an example, get the experience and the knowledge base in the special ed field. And the purpose of this is very clear. As a result of this well-rounded and balanced curriculum, Niagara students are prepared for the real world of teaching. They have experience in these different fields that will serve them well after graduation, as I'm sure many alumni can attest to. And this holistic approach to education is consummate to the very foundation of Niagara University as a liberal arts college. The second way that Niagara prepares teacher candidates is by giving them the experience in the classrooms and local schools every semester starting freshman year. Theory and research is very important and provides a solid foundation for teacher candidates as they grow and develop into successful educators. However, that's only half of the equation. The other half is field experience. And prior to student teaching, Niagara students complete a minimum of 150 hours of classroom observation and teaching assistantships before student teaching. And during this time, they teach lessons, they assist in classroom activities, and learn from experienced teachers. This on-the-spot training is crucial to achieve teacher candidates' development. Application and the effectiveness of the concepts covered in the education classes are explored and seen in real life. Let's be realistic here. We're teaching between 20 and 125 human beings, not robots, human beings every day. And teachers need to keep that human element in mind as they plan and guide students through those learning activities. We also need to realize that not every lesson is going to go as planned. What counts is how we adapt and modify our instruction as we go along, and that's what makes teachers effective. Third, students cannot be successful without guides and mentors. Niagara has very dedicated professors who truly care about their students, and they model what prospective teachers are expected to do and adhere to the highest standards of professionalism. They also incorporate as much of the real world of teaching into the classes, especially by discussing current issues and debates going on in the field. And these individuals are at the forefront of educational research and are each distinguished individuals in their own right. These professors here want their students to succeed, as every teacher should want and expect of their students. Fourth are the professional development opportunities. Such examples include conducting research with professors, which is usually not found at the undergraduate level, and attending national conferences. In fact, 47% of Niagara's undergraduates engage in some aspect of research with a professor during their time here working on their undergraduate degree. The professors love working with students, and that unique perspective is provided when researching these educational trends and policy. Due to the numerous connections our professors have, students are given opportunities to present at and attend national conferences to make those connections in the field. Last year, the National Council on Social Studies Education had their national conference here in Niagara Falls, and Dr. Met, along with several students, were actually one of the people who presented on some of the data here in New York State. And I was able to attend that as well and attend some of those different workshops. That was a great professional development opportunity that a lot of undergraduates don't get. Next is the teacher preparation data. So students in New York State are required to pass several teacher certification exams. For me, as a double major in social studies and math, I had to take 4 exams in addition to the EdTPA, which I finally just submitted after student teaching. But the big thing here is that Niagara does a good job of allowing these students to be successful in these exams on the first try. And as a result, Niagara's passing rates on these exams are miles ahead of the other teacher preparation programs in the state. And this success is due to the excellent academic preparation in the teacher preparation program. And the final piece is reputation. Schools around the United States and Canada know and appreciate the type of teachers that Niagara produces. In fact, many schools contact the Dean of the College of Education, Dr. Foote, inquiring about those recent graduates and recommendations for filling open positions. These schools include elementary, middle, and high schools throughout the United States and Canada, including most recently Houston, Texas, and Boca Raton, Florida. Schools know that Niagara graduates are more prepared and more versatile than those from other programs. As I conclude here, I just wanted to take a moment to look at the program and the graduates in general. Niagara students are some of the most qualified and experienced teacher candidates, and this is due to the rigorous teacher education program. Niagara University's College of Education leads by example and sets the bar for other teacher preparation programs to follow. The recent reaccreditation of the programs here is a testament to the hard work and academic excellence that Niagara provides. The College of Education gives its students the tools, knowledge, and foundation to go out and be a successful educator, mentor, co-worker, and professional. They teach their students how to be effective and successful educators and then send them out to positively influence the lives of their students and ultimately change the world. And that is the power of Niagara University. Thank you.
Yeah, I think he's going to be okay. We didn't write any of that for him, just so you know. All those points are true, but we didn't write any of them. Before we close today, I want to take a moment. I know Dr. Foote did this, but would Dr. Foote stand, and any other member who's here from the College of Education, please stand. Any staff, faculty, administrators, please. How about a round of applause for the college? Great job on the all-around. We do want to see the tumbling in a little bit. Great job on the all-around. Again, thank you to Andrea and Richard for being here with us, to Mark. You heard this several times, and there's a quote from Aristotle, so I had to dig back a little bit. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. And I think you heard that from every one of our speakers today, that they teach with heart, and that is incredibly important as we go forward.